Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to my first impressions of Ion Fury. This is a retro first-person shooter created in the Build engine, the same engine that Duke Nukem 3D was created in, although it's been modified. And it's also published by 3D Realms, so this game is finally out of early access, and damn, man, is it a good-ass game. It's a little bit tricky, and it actually wasn't what I was expecting at all at first. I was never really raised on these older first-person shooters like Doom or Duke Nukem 3D. I was probably still in diapers when these games came out, or actually even before then. But I was raised on shooters when the Xbox 360 came out, and before then I had a GameCube, but essentially it was Halo and Call of Duty and Gears of War all day, every day. Then eventually I got a PC, I built my own gaming PC, and I got some games on sale. And I got into Fear, which is probably my favorite game of all time, or at least my favorite shooter of all time. Then you have Crysis, the first half of that game, probably my second favorite shooter, and then that's followed up by Fear 2. At least Crysis for the first half before the aliens, because everything after that kind of falls apart. So I like my 3D shooters, I like my scripted events, I like my variety, my level design, my big dumb cutscenes. But, you know, I value gameplay over everything else. So if a game is just, you know, has a story as the main point, but if the gameplay is kind of mediocre, well, it's better be a good story. And this game doesn't have any kind of story to speak of. It's just pretty much this. In the near future, the streets of Neo-DC are wrought with crime. You are Corporal Shelley Bombshell Harrison, leader of the GDF's Domestic Task Force. Basically, you're playing RoboCop as a policeman. Like, there's just crime everywhere. It's, you know, just like every other game in the 90s. Like, oh, in the futuristic year of 2007, everything's fucked. You know, it's great. Basically, you have a one-liner kind of character, a la Duke Nukem, and she's alright. You know, the voice actor behind her is, you know, does a good job. Some lines, you know, kind of fall flat. Nothing's, like, cringy or just really annoying or insufferable. It's all pretty good. And there's some good one-liners in there, too. But the story really doesn't get in the way. What really matters is the gameplay, and it is quite fun. I was expecting a game that would be kind of antiquated like Duke Nukem 3D. Again, not into those older games, because, you know, the control scheme and the difficulty is just not to my taste. But this game, even though it can be a little frustrating at times, is amazing. It feels great. The gunplay, the sounds... I'm actually just going to let you listen to it right here. You hear that? It's pretty nice, and the music is really good. I mean, right here, it's not the best so far that I've heard, but it's still decent. Almost gives me a Deus Ex vibe for some reason. By the way, if you're seeing some cuts here and there, it's because there is an air show outside of my house. I got review code early for this game for once, but unfortunately, internet went down, so that kind of sucks, and now I have to deal with airplanes. My life is hell. Anyway. So yeah, most of the guns, in fact, actually all of them have secondary fire to some degree. So the shotgun doubles as a grenade launcher. You can fire that right here. Let's just try to get it up in there. Yeah. Oh, okay, he's just gonna move. Did I get him? Nope. That's a little bit inconsistent with the explosions. You feel like they should be killing a lot more than they are. Then you have grenades, which can also, like, have a secondary ability. You can kind of just, like, light them up like that and just, you know, do that. Or just kind of toss them like that. And then they don't explode for some reason. Okay, a little weird. Can I shoot them? Or is that a pickup? I don't know. This game is a little weird. And then you have the pistol right here, which can lock on. This is very, very useful for dealing with a problem I've had in a lot of old school shooters, and that is the sudden, like, one-shot deaths from around a corner. Basically, you charge it up a little bit right here, and it's, you know, it's temporary. You can't just be like this forever, so your hand is moved away. But you can do this. If it'll lock on. There you go. Before you could even shoot, I had time and a half, in fact, to pull that off and do this lock-on ability. like that. So that's very, very useful for ducking around corners and peeking and making sure that you don't get hit by enemies. Now, of course, if there's more than one enemy in the map, this gun is not exactly super overpowered anymore, now is it? Because you're just going to get shot from all angles, and it's just not going to do a good job. It can lock on and attack multiple enemies at once, but it does take a second. Jeez, I can hear him too. Oh, he's shooting me too. Where is he? It's probably... I didn't even see him. Some enemies can blend into the background. That's actually intentional. They change their palettes. It's a little bit annoying. But yeah, there's other guns like the machine gun, which actually don't even start out with secondary fire. You have to actually pick up a second one, and that I actually got that because I discovered a secret. So in this game, there's lots of secrets, special areas that you can explore, and essentially, you can like interact with the environment, so hit switches to open hidden doors, or set up or like look through security cameras, all kinds of cool stuff. And you know, there's some like neat little Easter eggs and stuff like that too. But it's mainly used for the finding of hidden objects, and things like key cards and essential items aren't really hidden, but lots of ammo and sometimes cool weapon pickups are. So that's how I got the dual assault rifles. And you can get some guns earlier. There's also a bowcaster in this game, which can be charged up to fire multiple. The machine gun, when you get that second one from that hidden area, that allows you to fire 2 guns at once. So it's just the second gun. Even the baton, you know, like... it's really cool that all the guns have secondary fire. All of them have, like, a good flow to them. They're always, like... not one of them is good for every situation. And even if they are, there's limited ammo for it. Yeah. There's also, of course, the non-regenerating health in the armor system. And that leads me to the difficulty. Again, the game is fairly well balanced. The problem is, of course, those checkpoints. Sometimes you can just feel like, oh my god, I gotta start from here again. But you do have a manual save option right here. You know, we're gonna actually do that right now. While we're here, we might as well look at some of the options. You know, you have a HUD setup option to scale it around, which is nice for a game like this. You know, if you want to play it on the TV with a controller for God knows what reason. Brightness, contrast, gamma, video modes. You have your VSync. Not too much here because this game could probably run on a calculator. Resolution options. Plentiful. You even have a 480 mode, which is just awesome. Frame rate limit. You can go up to 240 FPS. And you have widescreen on or off, voxels. So I believe that's for some of the non-sprite work in this game. There's apparently... I'm sorry, not apparently. There are fully 3D models in this game that you can pick up, like gun models, and they actually like rotate, which was not a thing in Duke Nukem or even Doom or anything like that. It's like... it's weird, like that's kind of new. In fact, it's a lot more difficult than you'd think of like doing something like that in an old engine, from what I've read, so that's pretty cool. Otherwise, things will look a little bit boxy or look like a sprite. They'll have like a very two-dimensional thing going on for them. But yeah. The level design overall is pretty fun. There were like a handful of levels that were just like, this is alright. Or one level in particular is like you were just backtracking too much, and that's partly because of the way the enemies appear. Basically, you have to find key cards to progress in some of these levels, and at one point in the game, I was just backtracking back and forth trying to find stuff, but the enemies weren't reappearing. That's because until you explore new levels, the enemies don't reappear, and by reappear, I mean there's like a finite amount of them. So like, let's say I'm like exploring like, you know, this area right here, and then there's like a door right here. It's like, oh, there's a hidden door. Let me go through here, and I find a blue key card. I'm like, alright, I have to go back and open this blue door over here. But in this area, as soon as I pick up that blue key card, if I go back to this area, there's going to be some new enemies here. So that's cool. That, like, you know, it's not like you're backtracking through nothing. There's going to be new enemies. You have to keep yourself, you know, awake, focused, make sure you don't... You're gonna walk into a room that you thought you cleared, and then bam, there's a bunch of new enemies in there. And again, it's finite. At the end of each mission, you're gonna see a enemy count of ones you've killed, and obviously there's gonna be some ones you missed because there's gonna be secret rooms filled with new enemies and stuff like that. So that's cool. And obviously, there's are going to be some secrets that are just going to be very easy, and then they're going to be really hard to find. So, you know, it's always nice to explore. Sometimes you have to interact with the environment to find them. But you're never going to run into a situation where, hey, where's that key card? Is it, like, in a secret area? No, it's in plain sight, usually. Jesus, there's a lot of enemies in this level. This is actually one of the harder ones. It's also hard to do this while doing commentary. Yeah. I'm just gonna clear this level out. I do not want to risk having to restart this again. Actually, you know, I'll just save right here. Yeah. Gunplay is quite nice. It's a lot of fun. Like, holy hell. I was expecting some antiquated control scheme, and what I got instead was some really fast-paced game. Kind of reminds me of Titanfall, how fluid everything is. I mean, obviously they're very different. But, still pretty damn good. Alright, where's that shotgunner? Oh. There he is. There's the yellow key card. Ah, cool. Alright. That's a relief. Oh. But I'm gonna die. Oh, you know what? I have a spare health kit. That some of these you can actually carry around with you, kind of like Fear. And then also, sometimes, like, you just hear these gun sound effects, and you're like, you feel like it's right next to you, but you're like, where the hell is it? Okay, there we go. So positional audio does need some work. I mean, it's really important to hear the enemies where they are, and like, jeez, man, if you don't hear them, and you just get shot out of nowhere, it's frustrating, man. Also, it might seem that you need to have perfect aim. You actually don't. The game is very forgiving with its aiming system. That crosshair is a lie. And a lot of the guns have some spread to them. Did I just backtrack? Not quite. Oh, you know, I'm sorry. I am backtracking because of that yellow key card. But yeah, Ion Maiden. I can see it might not be everyone's cup of tea, right? Some people like their stories. Some people like their scripted cutscenes, their puzzles, their other reasons for playing games, characters, world building. But I don't care if the game is so good that it just eventually trumps everything else. Like, a lot of modern games have this problem where it's like, okay, they want to put cutscenes in, and you know, they're not super intrusive, but you just kind of don't care because it's just not that good. Like, if you want good symbolism and storytelling and world building, you can find that in your local comic book shop or bookstore. If you want great acting, great voice acting, great dialogue and character development, well, you can find that in a lot of television and movies. Games are always kind of behind in that regard. They have to rely on that gameplay. Sometimes they can do things that film can't in terms of storytelling, like Spec Ops: The Line, for example, but that is the exception, not the rule. I am fine with a big, dumb action shooter, and this game does that in spades. It is perfect. There is nothing wrong with that. And I'd say for a lot of you, it's going to be worth that 25 bucks. Multiplayer is coming later on. I have no idea if that's LAN or local or whatever. But if it is local, well, maybe I'll do a Quest for the Couch video on it. Who knows? But it'll definitely be LAN. I know that for a fact. And I actually would like to play this at a LAN party. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for me. Ion Fury, or Ion Maiden. 3D Realms, build engine, good game. Get it. It's really, really fun. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. I'm out.